Welcome to RichTrybe. We're diving straight into a massive paradigm shift today. Listen, what if I told you that burying your money in the sand, playing it completely safe, and basically just hiding your wealth isn't just bad financial advice, but it's actually a sin? Seriously, what if growing your wealth is a direct biblical command? Today, I'm going to mentor you on how to align your money with your faith. We're going to talk about how to grow it exponentially and build a real legacy, all without compromising your convictions. So let's look at the parable of the talents in Matthew 25. Jesus tells this story about a master who hands his servants some capital to manage. Two of them, they double it, and the master praises them. But the guy who hides his talent in the dirt, the master literally calls him a wicked, lazy slave and says he should have at least put it in the bank to earn some interest. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that God expects a return on investment. He doesn't view wealth as something to just hoard. It's a dynamic tool for kingdom impact. As a steward of the king's capital, you're expected to multiply it. Okay, wait a minute, hold on. I've been in church my whole life. Isn't the pursuit of money supposed to be the root of all evil? Shouldn't a Christian be, focused on heavenly things instead of aggressively trying to build wealth in the stock market or real estate? Yeah, and that's exactly the mental hurdle most Christian men really have to get over. Look at Hebrews 13:5, which says, "Keep your lives free from the love of money." Notice that. The wealth itself isn't the idol. It's just an amoral tool. The sin is worshiping it. But here's the deeper issue. As stewards, we simply cannot delegate the moral responsibility of what our investments are actually funding. You might be content, you might be tithing to your church, but if your 401k is out there funding things God hates, well, you're completely responsible for where that capital flows. Man, okay, that hits hard. I definitely understand the stewardship part now. But how do I actually invest morally without just pulling all my money out of the market and hiding my cash under a mattress? How do I even know what my portfolio is secretly financing behind the scenes? That right there is where we need to introduce a massive distinction. You've probably heard of ESG, or socially responsible investing, SRI, right? Well, SRI is fundamentally a secular framework. Secular SRI might screen out, say, environmental hazards, but it could still be actively funding abortion providers, pornography, or lifestyle agendas that directly violate a conservative biblical worldview. True biblically responsible investing, or BRI, takes a completely different approach. It filters every single dollar through the strict lens of Scripture. So the methodology kicks off with what we call negative screening. Think of this as the avoidance strategy. BRI funds actively block your Christian capital from flowing into obvious sin industries. We're talking about strictly excluding companies that manufacture abortifacient drugs, distribute pornography, run massive gambling operations, or produce tobacco and alcohol. It's about drawing a hard boundary and saying, no way. I refuse to let the resources God entrusted to me be used to destroy human lives. But look, we don't just stop at avoiding the bad stuff. We pivot over to the engaging and endorsing side of BRI. And this is positive screening. We're actively seeking out and rewarding companies that actually demonstrate biblical principles of human flourishing. We want to fund companies with ethical leadership. Places that pay fair living wages, provide safe working conditions, treat their customers honestly, and actively bless their communities. We're directing capital to businesses that, whether they realize it or not, are truly loving their neighbor. Okay, that sounds amazing in theory, but let's be real about the math for a second. Doesn't screening out some of the most massive, profitable companies in the world mean I'm going to have to sacrifice my financial returns? I have a family to feed and a retirement to fund. I really can't afford to take a loss just to make a moral point. I hear you, but honestly, that is the biggest myth in faith-based finance, and I absolutely love shattering it. Just look at the number 0.09%. That's the ultra-low expense ratio of a biblically responsible ETF launched by a company called Inspire. And here's the real kicker. In its first 2 years since launch, it actually outperformed the S&P 500. So no, you are absolutely not destined for subpar returns just because you choose to invest with a conscience. And hey, that's not just an isolated case either. Academic studies consistently prove that morality-driven, faith-based portfolios only show a statistically insignificant 0.5% variance from conventional funds over long periods. In fact, there's strong statistical evidence showing that these values-based funds are often way more stable during periods of extreme market volatility. The bottom line? You can achieve aggressive, market-beating growth while keeping your hands completely clean. Just to make this hyper practical for you, here are some real world examples of competitive Christian fund families you can actually access right now. You've got Inspire Investing, which uses quantitative algorithms to create low cost passive ETFs based on their Inspire impact score. Then there's the Timothy Plan, who practically pioneered this space decades ago with strict negative screening. And you have Eventide, using active management to find companies creating what they call business for the common good. Investors today have robust, highly vetted options. You don't have to sacrifice yield. And let me tell you, the broader market is definitely waking up to this. Over just a 2-year period, sustainable and responsible investing grew by an explosive 76%, representing literally trillions in capital. So this isn't some fringe movement of a few monks in a monastery, right? This is a massive shift of wealth by incredibly smart investors who realize that aligning their money with their values is both morally right and financially sound. Okay, I'm completely sold on the stock market side of things. That's great for Wall Street and my retirement accounts, but what about Main Street? What about the average Christian guy listening to this who just wants to start building some tangible wealth today, totally outside of the stock market? Now we're talking. That is exactly where true financial stewardship begins. It starts right in your driveway and at your kitchen table. Crown Financial Ministries teaches this really powerful principle. Every single time you do without something today so you can have more tomorrow, you are investing. Think about it. Sacrificing the ego and the status of buying a brand new car and intentionally choosing a reliable used one so you can save that capital, that is a profound investing decision. You're basically trading a depreciating asset and some temporary pride for the solid foundation of generational wealth. And once you save up that capital, we move to what I consider the ultimate tool for grounded Main Street wealth creation: real estate stewardship. Buying cash-flowing properties isn't just about getting rich, guys. It's about building tangible shelter and security for your family's future, while also providing high-quality housing for your community. Real estate is a hard asset. It appreciates, it cash flows, and it offers massive tax benefits. Now, here's a little secret those late-night TV gurus definitely won't tell you. Do not quit your 9-to-5 job to do this. I'm serious, keep your day job. That stable W-2 income is literally your superpower. It's what allows you to secure long-term, low-interest bank financing. You leverage that job to use OPM, other people's money, to buy a rental property. Think about the beauty of that. The tenant pays down the debt, the bank takes the risk, and you build the equity. You absolutely don't need to pay some infomercial guy thousands of dollars to learn this stuff. You just need discipline. You buy one property, stabilize it, and then take the cash flow it generates to save up for the next one. Because you kept your day job, you're not forced to eat your real estate profits just to survive. You patiently reinvest every single dime of that rental cash flow. Do that over a decade, and you're going to experience explosive, exponential portfolio growth. We are about to cover the most important takeaway of our entire discussion today: the absolute ultimate key to a millionaire's legacy. But before we get to that, if you're getting value out of this and you are truly ready to stop playing small with your finances, please subscribe to the RichTrybe channel. Like, comment, and share. We are actively building a community of believers committed to excellence in wealth and faith, and we want you with us. All right, listen to this quote from the great industrialist Andrew Carnegie. 90% of all millionaires become so through owning real estate. Brother, this is the undeniable cornerstone of wealth. Whether you're using biblically responsible ETFs in your brokerage account or you're out there buying duplexes in your local market, the math just works. And the biblical principles of stewardship demand that we engage. You are called to build a lasting legacy that outlives you and heavily funds the kingdom. So I want to leave you with this final, deeply personal challenge. Take a hard look at your bank accounts, look at your retirement funds, and really examine your daily spending habits. You have been given talents by the King. Are you multiplying them for his glory, or are you just burying them out of fear and ignorance? It is time to stop hiding your talents in the dirt. Step up, take responsibility, and start investing with biblical purpose today.